Good afternoon and welcome to the Boulevard. We're back in action today with league action, and Oldham are today's visitors. And Hull, of course, have had a fortnight's break after that first round Regal Trophy exit at Widnes in an excellent game by 24 points to 16. And of course the last league game was the 14-6 defeat at Featherstone Rovers. So despite those defeats, Hull remained top of the table, played 10, won 8, lost 2 with 16 points. Widnes 2 points behind with the game in hand. Oldham, who are just taking the field, have had a fairly traumatic week. They made a fairly ignominious exit from the Regal Trophy in the second round at Batley by 20 points to 16 last week, with Batley player coach Keith Rain scoring a hat-trick, his last try, final try in the last minute, clinching the game for the second division side. But the game was played amidst some controversy, with Australian loose forward John Cogger being sent off for Oldham, complaints from the Oldham club about the stewardship of the game by the Batley club, which is going to a rugby league inquiry. But Cogger was found guilty on Thursday night of his offence of inciting the crowd, and he was suspended for 2 matches, so he's out of the side today. Oldham in the league are in relegation trouble. They're third bottom. They've played 11, won 4, lost 7, 12th position with only 8 points, so they're pretty desperate for a league win. And if we look at the two sides today, Hull have rejinked the three-quarter line. So the team reads fullback Richard Gay, Paul Eastwood, Rob Nolan, Richard Price and Brad Webb across the three quarters. Greg Mackey and Patrick Ontar, halfbacks. Carl Harrison, Lee Jackson, Andy Dannett, Ian Marlowe, Russ Walker, John Sharp make up the pack, with Brian Blacker and Mike Dixon the two substitutes. Oldham, few changes. Tony Barrow has wielded the axe this week to try and get some more resilience into his side. So they line up fullback Duncan Platt, on the wings Richard Irving and Paul Lord, in the centres Tony Anderson and John Henderson, halfbacks Brett Clark and Mike Ford, and the forwards John Fieldhouse, ex-international, Richard Russell, John Fairbank, Paul Round, Keith Atkinson, with Ronnie Duane at loose forward. Des Foy and Charlie McAllister, the New Zealander, are the substitutes. Brian Holwell, vital game for Hull this. Got to try and win to consolidate the position at the top of the table. The other sides, the other leading sides involved in Regal Trophy action this weekend. Oldham won't be easy, but I think they might be a bit vulnerable in the forwards.
Yeah, as you commented, Tony Barrow's had to make some changes, and I don't think that's strengthened this side. They're missing John Cogger, as you've said, who's a vital ingredient. Every time I've seen Oldham play, Cogger's been a very influential player, makes lots of ground for Max in halfback. Yeah, I think Oldham are vulnerable, but when we look at the Oldham side in the back, Steve, I think we've got to be a bit careful there, because I think Mike Ford's very good scrum half, Brett Clark very competent at standoff, and two centres with pace. And so I think Oldham could spring a surprise, because obviously they must be fired up to win. As you commented, the coach has wielded the axe after the Batley game, so you're going to expect them to come out with all guns blazing, Steve. So I don't think it's going to be easy for Hull. It's interesting to note that Brian Smith's made changes in the Hull three-quarter line. I think he's had faith with the three quarters for quite some time now, and to be honest, the Hull three quarters have rarely risen above the competent since the season started. So I think there can be no complaints about that. It certainly gives Richard Price a chance to shine, and we'll see what Brad Webb can do on the wing.
The referee this afternoon is Robin Whitfield from Widnes, a familiar figure for many years, and quite a flood of spectators coming in here at the last minute, but we have to say this is a very thin attendance for a side at the top of the league. It looks as if the Christmas season, traditionally bad time for crowds, has hit Hull today. Oldham's halfback combination of Brett Clark, the Australian, and Mike Ford looks a very important one. A lot of play. It's going to be a good battle there with Hull's two halfbacks.
Yeah, I think it is. I think Mike Ford is a good player. He toured Australia on the last tour and he wasn't very successful. But when I've seen him, I think he's a very competent player, Steve. He's got an excellent kicking game and he'll move the ball well, and most of the players will revolve around him. And as I said, if they can, the halfback can bring those two centres in, both have got genuine pace, we could be in a little bit of trouble.
So we get underway. Greg Mackey to kick off the Gordon Street end, taken by Ford. Here's Round, tackled about 5 yards short of the quarter line. Duane, career resurrected by Oldham, who signed him from Warrington a couple of seasons ago. Former Great Britain centre. Here's Fairbank, one of the clan, and good tackling by Lee Jackson and Carl Harrison. Back to Platt for the kick. Eastwood takes it cleanly, just inside his own half. Goes across the field, but chased by Ford and tackled 10 yards short of halfway. Price at acting halfback, back in the side today. And he makes a few yards forward. Jackson acting halfback. And he done it. Brings play inside the Oldham half. And tussle for possession. There's Harrison. The whole forwards establishing the yardage game early on. 10 yards inside the Oldham half now. Patrick Onta kicks, but that's rather too long, and play will come back for a scrum 15 yards inside the Oldham half. And Patrick Onta, of course, has played in the 2 France-Australia test matches over the last couple of weeks, and it was good to see the French putting up a more substantial and determined showing last week after their disastrous first test performance when they conceded 60 points. By all accounts, Patrick Onta had a very solid game in both those test matches. Oldham in possession, 10 yards short of halfway. Round, dangerous running forward. Ford, the playmaker, kicks. And Paul Eastwood watches the ball go into touch, so the scrum will go down 5 yards inside the Hull 25 with Hull's head and ball. Certainly looks as if Ford is going to be first receiver most of the time, Brian.
Yeah, it was a good kick from Ford, as we commented earlier, Steve. He's got a good kicking game.
Possession contested by players rather untidily from that scrum, and I think the scrum is going to go down with Hull's head and ball again. Mackie, long ball out to Nolan. The Oldham tacklers up well. Henderson making the tackle. Ian Marlowe. And the ball comes loose. Fieldhouse tackled well by Lee Jackson, but Oldham with a good attacking position inside the Hull 25. John Fairbank. Ford calling the play. Switches, brings Atkinson back up close to the play of the ball. Oldham now only 13 or so yards away from the Hull line. Out to Round. Good tackling by Mackie and Walker. Ford again calling the shots. Goes across the field. Picks up Duane. And the ball out to centre. Anderson, but the goal, I think, goes forward. And the try, no try. And it needed a good pass there from Tony Anderson. And he didn't get it. He didn't give it. But a let off for Hull, Brian.
Yeah, a real let off, as you say. I mean, a good ball by Ford for Anderson to run into the gap, but his pass wasn't good enough to put his winger over.
Carl Harrison, meanwhile, brings play within 10 yards of halfway. Jackson, long ball to John Sharp, finds a bit of room on the outside. Had Gay on his inside, but play now inside the Oldham half. Andy Dannett. Flat pass to Merlo. Almost forward, last tackle. Hull still some way from the Oldham 25. Mackie kicks to the corner. And the ball just drifts over the wrong side of the corner flag as far as Hull are concerned, and Oldham will restart on the 25. 4 to Fieldhouse. And he offloads nicely. Ocker Russell. And Henderson is tackled well by Eastwood and Nolan. And Round gets the ball away. Here's Dwayne. But tackled by Harrison and Jackson. Back to Ford to kick. Richard Gay to collect inside his own 25. Chased by Anderson and tackled by Irving. Brad Webb from acting half-back. Webb today on the wing instead of his usual centre position. And Richard Price now in possession, who's come into the centre in place of Webb. Dannett coughs the ball at this time, and Oldham have possession. 12 yards inside the whole half. Round on the run around with Ford. Clark. And Fieldhouse tackled. Here's Fairbank. Beats the tackle of Sharp, but Ross Walker is there. Russell from acting halfback finds a bit of room on the short side, breaks the tackle of Sharp. Here's a chance for the winger, and he's over. Try in the very corner to Paul Lord. So Duncan Platt to attempt the conversion from far out on the touchline. That's a good kick, and just drifts to the right of the post, but a good effort from the touchline by Duncan Platt. So we've had 12 minutes, and Oldham have opened the scoring. Hull 0, Oldham 4. And as Brian Holwell commented, Hull will need to be much more secure with the possession that they've got. Ford recollects for Oldham. Brings round on the switch pass inside, and a very good tackle by Lee Jackson. Who else? Carl Harrison assisting. Platt, and again Jackson across from the marker position. Good tackling by the Hull hooker. Oldham on their own 25. Fieldhouse brings it up. It's back to Atkinson, who kicks this time. The ball collected by Gay, and this was a very skinny 10 yards that Mr. Whitfield played there. Webb from acting halfback, but Hull still 14 yards short of halfway. Jackson from acting half, but no way through there. Richard Price this time. And he stopped about 6 yards short of halfway. Marlowe acting half. Onta. Hull move it quickly to the right, but Mackie decides to put in the kick. And it's taken by Platt fairly easily, just inside his own 25, but Nolan makes the tackle. Henderson, acting halfback, is a quick man, this Henderson, signing from Lee. He's an Oldham boy, but played a lot of his career at Lee. Came to Oldham a couple of years ago. Atkinson, meanwhile, brings it up, and he's stopped just short of halfway. Tackled by Dannett and Jackson. Ford, inside to Round. Looking to get the ball out to his right, but no one there, and Ford kicks, and that's a beautiful kick, forcing Hull back into their own 25, and so far, Brian Holwell, most of the play in the whole half.
Yeah, and most of the time Ford's been dominating play state. Another excellent kick from Ford.
The referee not satisfied with that scrimmage, makes it go down again. Onta to feed. Hull have it. Mackie out to Gay. And Gay is stopped a few yards short of his own 25. Richard Price from acting halfback finds a bit of room. Good yardage gained by Richard Price. Marlowe acting half. Onta. Sharp. Ball out to Nolan. Steps inside. Beats the tackle of Henderson, but wrapped up by Clark. Sharp acting half-back out to Walker. Walker drives forward, almost to the halfway line. Clark and Russell in the tackle. Mackie goes for the long ball out to Richard Price. He brings Webb on the inside, but plenty of Oldham cover across to read the play well. Last tackle, and Mackie goes for the touchline kick and makes a good touch. Makes a good touch, about 6 yards short of the Oldham 25. Better kick by Greg Mackie.
Yeah, a little bit better play by Hull then, Steve, but still not wholly convincing, are they?
Oldham win the ball, Ford, tackled by Mackie, ball and all. There's Round, very prominent so far, Paul Round with special with the ball in his hands. Fieldhouse, good tackling by Sharp and Walker. Ford, again the kick, taken by Gay just outside his own 25. And he's beautifully tackled by Clark, the Australian standoff for Oldham. Ian Marlowe on the outside, but Oldham's tackling is very keen and sure at the moment. Walker this time. Jackson, nice ball to Dunnett. Hull edging towards halfway, but not there yet. Marlowe just about makes the halfway line, but that's the last tackle. It's back to Mackie to kick. Tries the chip kick. Taken by Lee Jackson, but the referee awards that as offside and gives a penalty to Oldham. Well, I think he thought about that for a minute and then decided to give it.
From our position personally, I thought he was offside. I thought he was just offside. But
a nice bit of variety by Greg Mackie, trying the chip kick over the top as a variant on the touch finder. Oldham to restart 10 yards short of the whole 25. Russell brings Fieldhouse into play. Dwayne, tackled by Jackson. Here comes Round up the middle, finds a bit of room, supported well by Russell, tries to get the ball away. Ball bouncing around, and the referee in the end awards a knock on. But Paul Round found a lot of space and support there, Brian.
Yeah, simple little crisscross move, and he found half a gap, and Russell was right on his shoulder again, Steve, showed a little bit of pace again. This hooker's looked quite impressive, hasn't he, so far?
I think he was a half-back at Wigan, wasn't he, when he played there?
Yeah, he's certainly sharp off the mark.
Mackie has the ball from the scrum. Rob Nolan, but he's wrapped up by a crowd of Oldham tacklers. Eastwood from acting half-back, but no way forward there. There's Harrison, inside to Ontar, Noel out to Marlowe. And he breaks the tackles, makes the 25. Mackie. Hull stacked up on the left, but Sharp is brought to ground by centre Anderson. Ian Marlowe. Last tackle against Hull though, and they're still only 12 yards outside their own quarter. Jackson running from acting halfback and didn't seem to be aware it was the last tackle and concedes the turnover. So Oldham have a very good position here. Dwayne, tackled by Walker and Harrison. Henderson. Again Harrison and Walker, the tacklers. Ford, the man who's dictating play. Beats Dennett's tackle, but wrapped up by Nolan, Ontar and Eastwood. Clark, first receiver this time. Fieldhouse turns the ball back to Clark. Beautiful ball inside to Platt. And well tackled by Andy Dennett. Ford again dictating play. John Sharp has slipped, but regains his feet well to make the tackle. Last tackle, Oldham on the Hull 25. They're using a short side player. Round kicks through. That looks a little too strong. Richard Gay can watch it go over the touchline. But there seems to be a little bit of lack of urgency in Hull's play at the moment.
Yeah, we're giving Ford too much room. He's not under enough pressure. He's got time to make his decisions all the time, Steve.
And with the ball, Hull taking 1 or 2 wrong options.
Yeah, they are. You know, it's early days, but we don't seem to be, as you say, play with quite the same fire as every other game.
Oldham offside. Down beneath us here. Brett Clark, I think, the man who crept up in front of the 5 metres. And that's an area of the game that Robin Whitfield usually very, very keen on. Likes to keep a good distance between the two sides. Paul Eastwood kicks the touch, and Hull will restart 5 yards inside the Oldham half. So let's see what they can do with this sequence. Mackey. Carl Harrison standing wide off Mackey. Still driving forward. Good run by Carl Harrison. That's better from the Hull prop. Lee Jackson acting halfback. Whose ball is it this time? It's Andy Dannett. Crossing the play of the ball. Hull still 10 yards short of the Oldham 25. They move it to the right. Sharp out to Gay. Gay's taken very well by John Henderson. Lee Jackson from acting halfback. Still 10 yards short of the 25. Gay at acting halfback on top. Chips over the top. Ball taken fairly easily by the Oldham winger, but he loses possession, and Rob Nolan just manages to hold on and to stay in the field of play. So Hull back to 1. John Sharp will take it up. Tackled by Fairbank and Russell. On tack, calling play. Hull moving it quickly to the left. Out to Walker. Best bit of Hull attack we've had. 13 yards short of the Oldham line. Harrison. Ball goes to the floor, picked up by Marlowe. Mackey, short side play, kicks over the top. Platt stumbles, and Dannett just fails to make it. A good chase by Andy Dannett, but the ball just running over the dead ball line before he could make contact.
More urgency about Hull's play there.
Russell restarts for Oldham. Again breaks out of the tackle. Walker's tackle this time, but stopped by Nolan. Henderson from dummy half. And Oldham have brought it back to within 10 yards of halfway. Duane. But a phalanx of Hull tacklers there to stop him. On turn Marlowe. Fairbank. 2 yards short of halfway. Again, Ford calling the shots. And the touch judge is on the field for something. I say I was following play there, and Oldham had possession, but a Hull player is down on the ground. It looks to me like Greg Mackey. And Greg Mackey taking exception to something Mike Ford has either done or said there. And the referee awards a penalty to Hull, so that's poor discipline by Oldham because they had possession and a good attacking position.
Yeah, it was another good kick by Ford. I think the penalty's against Round, Steve, but like you, I was following play, so I'm not sure it was for.
So Eastwood will kick to the far side. And Hull now have a great position. Some 15 yards from the Oldham line, 20 yards perhaps. Richard Price restarts play. He gets to within 10 yards of the Oldham line. Hull are stacked deep on the right. Mackey, but Hal Harrison takes the ball on an angle, running back towards the Oldham posts. Jackson from acting half-back, looking for that play with Sharp. Oldham read that well. Mackie, long ball out to Nolan, but wrapped up nicely by Henderson. Mackie again calling play, runs at the defence himself. It's the ball away to Eastwood, and he's picked up by Nolan, bounces off Eastwood but went behind. Last tackle, Eastwood is acting halfback. Onta, out to Harrison, Harrison with a chance. Does he make the line? Yes, he does. Stretches out and makes the line. And I wouldn't be surprised actually if he actually hit the line on that tackle. It was a touch and go one, but of course the line is a try, and Oldham a little bit of contesting it from Fieldhouse, but no doubt about it, that was awarded, and Carl Harrison certainly seemed to me to make a good touchdown there, and his strength and power took him over after Onta's pass. Good try, Brian.
Very good pass by Onta there. A little bit fortunate, Steve, in the play before when the ball bounced off Eastwood and back to Nolan, but nonetheless that was much better. Really good long crisp pass, and he picked Harrison out perfectly, and Harrison's speed and power took him over the line. Very important try for Hull, because up to now certainly I think Oldham have been the better side.
And Oldham there certainly paying the penalty for conceding that that possession and penalty when they had the ball.
Yes, when there's no need to at all.
And Eastwood is successful with the kick, so Hull take the lead by 6 points to 4. And we've had 25 minutes of play. So let's see if that has drawn some of the sting from the Oldham attack, because so far I think we'd have to say that they've looked fractionally the better side. Platt to kick off. Taken by Mackie, who picks up Onta, who in turn finds Walker, and Walker will make the 25. Makes a good tackle from Dwayne, but that's a good reply by Hull. Eastwood from acting halfback, and he finds another 10. And this is much better by Hull. Jackson to Harrison, short ball to Dannett, and out to Richard Gay. Now Gay got a bit of space, gets it away to Rob Nolan. Nolan kicks ahead, few Hull players chasing, and Ford stumbles before kicking it dead, but does manage to do so, and that was good play by Hull, Brian.
Yeah, very good cross kick there by Rob Nolan. Hull had 3 players there to Oldham's 1, but Ford was good enough to make the ball dead.
And it was that man Michael Ford in defence this time who saved Oldham. But the result of this, of course, is that Oldham will have to drop out from under their own posts. Ball comes back to Sharp, who takes it just inside the Oldham half. And John Sharp will beats the first tackle of Russell, gets inside the Oldham 25, and Hull certainly on a roll at the moment. Jackson to Dannett. Dannett breaks through. Still going Andy Dannett. Good driving run by the prop. Can he play the ball quickly? Jackson acting halfback. Here's Harrison again, driving the Oldham line. Stopped a couple of yards short. Right under the Oldham post. Jackson acting half. Onta. Mackie. Mackie gets it to Dannett. Dannett out to Price, but the referee awards a penalty to Oldham for Andy Dannett passing off the ground. But this is much better play by Hull.
Better play. A lot of power there by the props. Really had Oldham rocking there.
I think that's the area you thought they might be a bit vulnerable in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, up to now we haven't really used our power. That was very impressive.
Duncan Platt taking this penalty, going for touch, but deciding to kick the ball from the floor rather than from his hands. And I don't think he finds touch. Ball is taken beautifully by Richard Gay. And he brings play back to within 35 yards of the Oldham line. So Oldham making a mess of that. And Ian Marlowe takes play on towards the Oldham 25. Lee Jackson acting halfback. Hull have got players on the blind side, but they switch it to the open. Mackey cuts out Dannett and finds John Sharp. Sharp back to Mackey. Back to Patrick Onta. Ball inside to Price, but he can't handle, and it goes to ground. Perhaps Onta tried one pass too many there, Brian.
It was, and I think it was a little bit hard actually. Price was quite near to him, wasn't it?
And Andy Dannett, rather, is down injured. And he's regaining his feet. I'm sure Andy will battle on. Oldham will have the head and ball at the scrum, Mike Ford to feed. The scrum goes down about 7 yards outside the Hull 25, and good push by Hull at that scrum. Who's got possession? Hull have it. Onta round like a ferret there, taking the ball. Jackson out to Mackey. John Sharp. Hull lying deep. Here's Richard Price. Steps inside the tackle of Clark. Almost makes the 25. He's tackled by Duncan Platt, Oldham's fullback. Hull on the short side. Jackson goes smacking half-back, gets the ball away to Sharp. Hull now 15 yards from the Oldham line. Onta cuts out Harrison, finds Dannett. Dannett tackled by Round. Onta out to Mackey. Chips over. Richard Gay in pursuit. Oh, and Oldham making it dead in the end, but it was a near thing. The ball bounced in their in-goal area, and they will have to restart with a 25 tap. So actually Oldham must not have touched that ball at all.
I think the bounce of the ball beat them all then.
Fieldhouse brings it up for Oldham. Tackled by Jackson and Sharp. 10 yards outside that 25, Oldham. Here's Fairbank. And he's within 10 yards of halfway now. Ford. Long ball out to Round, standing wide and deep where he likes to run. And he gets a nice ball away to centre Anderson. And that, I think, is going to beat everyone into touch. And does so. So that's a scrum to go down some 5 yards outside the Hull 25. Round likes to run from those wide positions, Brian.
I think Anderson improvised well then, because I thought, you know, they'd gone the wrong side of them. They had more men on this side, and they went the other side, and Anderson had nothing on, and in fact he manufactured quite a good kick.
Ball comes out of that scrum to Brad Webb. And Hull now 10 yards from their own 25. Walker. Good run by Russ Walker, almost gets the ball away to Mackey, just arrives too late. Price from acting halfback. Ball away to Marlowe, good ball. Marlowe had Gay on his right, but he was looking on the inside to Lee Jackson. Onta, and Mackey fumbles, and the ball taken by Oldham, taken by Round, 10 yards short of halfway. Platt from acting halfback. But a good tackle and chased by Andy Dannett from the marker position. Here's Fieldhouse this time. Just short of halfway, he stopped. Dwayne. And Greg Mackey makes the tackle. Jackson has a go at Russell. Russell gets away, loses a boot in the matter, but still going. Chip kick over the top, that's a good one. Well taken by Eastwood. Again, Mike Ford teasing the whole defence with a variety of players. And Eastwood being held down by Paul Round. Onta. Hull 10 yards short of halfway. Jackson to Walker. He makes a solid wall of Oldham tacklers. 8, 9 and 10. Here's Carl Harrison. Ball inside beautifully to Gay. Good tackle by Fairbank. Lee Jackson from acting halfback. Oldham asleep in the marker positions. The ball out to Mackey. Out to Richard Gay. Can Gay make it? Throws the ball back inside. The referee is down. Oldham have possession. And Oldham bring it away through round, but another near thing. And Lee Jackson exploiting the shaky marker defence, Brian.
Yeah, for once Oldham were a little bit slack around acting half, because up to now they've defended very well around there.
Here's Fairbank.
I must say, Steve, I thought the pass was forward.
Ford to kick again. Turns Gay. Gay allows Webb to bring it back. But Webb stumbles and he's brought down 15 yards from his own line. So Oldham have got a good field position here with Hull in possession. Richard Price from acting half-back, and he's made valuable yards from there already today. Richard will be very determined to cement a place in the side. He's got his opportunity in the centre today. I think it's his first full game of the season. Ontar breaks the tackle. Ontar breaks the tackle, gets it away to Webb. Webb is half-collared, makes halfway. Good play by the little French scrum half. Mackie, first receiver out to Sharp. Sharp, a rather risky ball inside, it goes to ground. Richard Gay having to chase, and here's a chance for Oldham, and I think it's going to go dead. But almost disaster from that John Sharp pass.
Yeah, I think what happened, Andy done it went the wrong side, Steve. We've seen it a lot this season when John Sharp gives him a short ball, but in fact he was on the other side of him.
So Hull will restart on their own 25. Lee Jackson will bring Ross Walker up. Harrison, short ball to Dannett, good ball to Marlowe. That's good play by the Hull forwards. And Ian Marlowe breaks few tackles, gets inside the Hull half, in the Oldham half, but excellent passing by the two Hull props. Lee Jackson from acting half-back, looking to offload in the tackle. Ontar to Mackie, to Ontar, it was Price rather earlier in the move. John Sharp on the inside, and he's wrapped up by Fieldhouse. Jackson to Harrison, thinks about the pass, gets it inside to Jackson, out to Ontar, got Price with him, Price out to Walker. Oldham still have cover though. Good enterprising passing by Hull. Playing the short side, Mackie, inside to Nolan, kicks through, and the Oldham winger, Irving, has to kick dead. Lord rather, has to kick dead. So Hull keeping the pressure on, and it's good play by them, Brian.
Good pressure and good short support play by the forwards there.
And Patrick Ontar involved a lot of the time in that.
Yeah, he was. You know, the first 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, he didn't see much of him, and, you know, he's really come into it.
So we're close to half-time here. 3 or 4 minutes to go, perhaps. And Oldham, understandably, slow to want to drop out. We have a substitution being made. Andy Dannett has gone off, and Mike Dixon is on now. It's a blow to Hull. Presumably Ian Marlowe will go up from the second row to prop, and perhaps Dixon into hooker and Jackson into the second row. We'll see at the next scrum. Dixon straight into play. Lee Jackson acting half-back. Ontar. Out to Mackie. Mackie decides to run at the Oldham defence himself, forsaking his distribution role for a moment. Jackson. Sharp. Running up close to the ruck. He's within 7 or 8 yards of the Oldham line. Dixon. Ontar. Out to Walker. Out to Gay. Beautifully taken by Richard Gay. What skill, but Nolan knocks on. Well, superb play by Richard Gay. First of all to take the ball under pressure, then to get the pass out, but unfortunately Rob Nolan unable to handle. And Oldham will have head and ball at the scrum, some 10 yards from their own line. Mike Ford to feed. Will Hull try that push again? And Ford gets good ball this time. John Sharp round from loose forward to make the tackle. Dwayne. Russell acting halfback. Out to Round. And he gets the ball away nicely to centre Anderson. An overhead pass to winger Irving. Beats the tackle of Webb easily and gets over the halfway line. So a good break by Oldham, made by Paul Round. Clark out to Platt. Ball back to Clark. He slips through Nolan. He's got a bit of room now. Mackey chasing. Going for the ball on the wing, but beautifully taken by Greg Mackey, who stood his ground superbly there and forced Brett Clark into a pass which wasn't on. And Greg Mackey takes possession for Hull. Webb to play the ball, short of the Hull 25. Jackson. Out to Price, but Hull short of numbers on the left. Marlowe to settle things down. Dixon from acting halfback. Last tackle. And Eastwood looks for the clearing kick. Goes for the midfield one. It's going to be taken by the Oldham winger Lord. Chased by Nolan. And Lord steps inside Walker's tackle, but it's taken by Lee Jackson, the ever reliable Lee Jackson. Ford, short side to Platt. And he's stopped just short of halfway. Ford. Out to Fairbank. And again Lee Jackson in the tackle. Russell. Ball left behind him by Ford. Marlowe chases through, but cleaned up by Fieldhouse. Irving in off the wing. Last tackle, and Oldham 10 yards short of halfway. Will Ford kick from first receiver? He will. Taken by Eastwood fairly easily. And he's tackled some 15 yards short of halfway. Richard Gay from acting halfback. And Gay makes a valuable 10 forward. Marlowe. Over halfway. And Paul Eastwood certainly not impressed with the tackle on Marlowe. And Mackey tries a pass which has to be taken on the floor by Gay. Walker makes a good strong tackle by Fieldhouse. Good hit that. Mackey out to Mackey from Ontar, and he looks for touch. And Rob Nolan is through to put pressure on Platt, the Oldham fullback, and he's tackled 10 yards short of his own line. Must be very close to half time now. We make it time, in fact, should be up. Irving wriggles out of a few tackles and clears the 25-yard line. Ford, long ball out to Round, and he gets through the tackle of Marlowe and gets it away to centre Henderson, but he drops it, and he had a wide open field, Brian Holwell.
Yeah, he slipped his man very well, did Round. I was only just thinking, Steve, before that happened, the Oldham forwards were very slow to get back actually on that last set, and then all of a sudden Round breaks away like that. It's a dangerous play, an odd pace. You can see that Oldham have got pace wide out. Winger Richard Irving just 5 minutes ago looked very dangerous.
Good push by Oldham in the scrum, and the whole forwards regaining their feet. Jackson has gone into the second row, Dixon at hooker, as we thought. Will win it. Mackey to Nolan. Hull 12 yards short of the Oldham 25. Onta, John Sharp. Ball out to Eastwood. And Eastwood tackle 5 yards short of the 25. Plays the ball. Gay out to Onta. Marlowe. Just short of the Oldham 25. Onta out to Mackey. Carl Harrison back inside to Mackey. Mackey finds a bit of space, kicks over the top, seemed to be obstructed, and the referee gives a penalty on the Oldham line where the ball bounces. So, well, perhaps a 50-50 one, but the referee gives the penalty to Hull.
It is, I think it was 50-50 because I thought Mackie made the most of it.
And a chance for Paul Eastwood to extend Hull's lead on the stroke of half-time here. So we reckon we've had a minute and a half of injury time. And Paul Eastwood has this opportunity to extend Hull's narrow lead. 6-4 the current score. And he's missed it. Not a particularly difficult penalty, and 2 points go missing. And there is the hooter for half-time, the end of what has been a lively and entertaining half, in which Oldham certainly have given as good as they've got. And this is proving to be a very tough game for Hull, despite the difference in the two sides' league positions. Oldham have come here looking determined. They've tackled extremely well in the forwards. They've looked to have pace in the three quarters, and a fair bit of guile at half-back in Mike Ford, who for me has been the outstanding personality of this half. But as the half wore on, Hull got more and more possession and put on more and more pressure. And in the second half, I can't see any reason why they shouldn't go on from here. But turned out, if anybody thought this was going to be an easy game, it certainly hasn't turned out that way, Brian.
No, it certainly wasn't. For the first 20 minutes, I thought Oldham was certainly the better side. Sharp, very well organised. Mike Ford dictating play, and people running well for him and showing plenty of pace out wide. Last 20 minutes of the half, certainly Hull came back and looked much stronger than Oldham. Interesting to see how much Andy Dannett going off will cost Hull in penetration, because I thought Dannett and Harrison and both the second row men are starting to looked a little bit too strong for Oldham in the last 20 minutes, and I thought one or two Oldham's forwards were certainly ready for half-time. But obviously taking Dannett off and bringing Dixon on, you know, certainly we lose power there. Of course we lose we gain Dixon's pace at acting half, but certainly it's a game to win, and as you say, a very entertaining game. Lots and lots of good football. I'm quite impressed with the way Lord's getting round us, getting outsiders on the outside, and trying to put his centres in the wing away. We've had one instance when he got Anderson away and then Irving. On this side, the ball didn't go to hand. Henderson wasn't able to take it because it'd been very interesting. They only had 60 yards to go. They seemed to have an open field. But very interesting game. We're really looking to hold forwards to stamp their authority on. We seem to set off very slowly today, Steve. I think most games this season, we've come out, we've done the job, and you know, after a quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, you're looking for the opposition to looking a little bit tired. But not the case today. We were very, very slow, and Oldham were certainly wound up for the game. Put early pressure on, moved the ball well. Russell's looked very quick at acting half-back, very good on attack. I'm not that impressed with his defence, though, Steve. He's missed quite a few tackles, as Atkinson, the other Oldham second row. But Rounds tackled well for them, and Fieldhouse's looked strong, and Dwayne's tackled well. And, you know, it's all to play for. 6-4 to Hull, just about right, I think, on the balance of play. But very interesting second half in prospect, I think.
Can we put down Hull's slow start to the fact they've had a week off, do you think?
Well, maybe, I don't know. After all, most of the first team, though not all of them, played in the A team last weekend, you know, to keep them match fit. It may be, yes, you're probably right, it may be that. And certainly I thought Ontar was pretty slow for the first 10 minutes, quarter of an hour. Maybe getting over the test match against Australia last Sunday, and his difficulty in getting back because of snow in France. I don't know, he wasn't really buzzing, was he, early on? In fact, none of the team seemed to me to be buzzing. You know, they were quite slow, quite pedestrian. And in contrast, Oldham were quick and played good football and supported one another well. But as I said, you know, we got over that problem. We only conceded one try. Now we're winning 6-4 and we should go on from this.
So there we are. An intriguing game and a very tight, close first half. Hull having the lead by 6-4 at half-time. We'll be back shortly. So Hull are back on the field, and no changes in the Hull side. Oldham have made a change. McAllister is here, the New Zealander, the player who earlier in the season had that very badly fractured jaw as a result of an incident involving David Bishop from Hull KR. Haven't quite worked out who he's on for yet. And Des Foy is also on. I can see him beneath us. So we're trying to work out who has gone off for Oldham. Foy is taking up a right centre position, so that suggests that Tony Anderson is off. And Dwayne, loose forward, who I thought had a pretty good first half, is off. McAllister on. Onta takes the ball from the kick-off. Walker will take it back up towards the quarter line. Makes a good solid tackle by McAllister, assisted by Fieldhouse. Here's Marlowe. Harrison. Back to Onta. Jackson from acting half-back finds a bit of space. Good break by Lee Jackson. Takes play to within 7 yards of halfway. Mackie at first receiver. Decides to kick into the Oldham 25. Platt receives. And he's tackled by Price and Webb. Here's Irving from acting half-back. Huddersfield boy, but playing for Oldham. Ford out to McAllister, and Oldham now about 6 yards outside their own 25. Russell is acting half-back, Ford calling the shots, and he kicks. And Gay collects. Has Eastwood with him, but goes on his own and makes a good valuable 10 forward. 10 yards short of halfway Hull. Eastwood acting half-back, Onta out to Marlowe. Breaks the tackle of Fieldhouse, and good little support by Patrick Onta. Marlowe couldn't quite get the ball to him, but good alert play by the French scrum half. Here's Harrison. Harrison's having a big game. I've been impressed with him today. He's stood in the tackle and offloaded and made a lot of yards. John Sharp feeding off Onta. Richard Price coming on his inside, can't pick him up. Walker acting half-back out to Marlowe. And he dips the shoulder, and Hull on the fifth tackle are 35 yards away from the Oldham line. Out to Mackie. Charged down by Ford, and here's a great chance for Oldham. Chased by Nolan. Henderson is beautifully tackled from behind by Mackie, who read the play superbly, making up for his error. Here's Foy. And Oldham have got a good position here. Fieldhouse to bring it up. Gets inside the Hull 25. Russell acting half-back, Clark. Oldham moving to the right, McAllister. And he loses the ball. It's picked up by Onta. And Hull have possession 5 yards inside their own 25. Richard Price from acting half-back, who has done a lot of good work today. Straightens up and, in fact, makes the break. Just stumbles as he wriggles out of the tackle of Round. Irving, rather. Mackie out to Onta. Onta to Jackson. And Lee Jackson, just short of halfway, is tackled by McAllister. Harrison. Inside to Price. Price again finds a bit of space. Oldham defence converging on Carl Harrison, leaving a little bit of room on the inside. Dixon from acting halfback. And play now within 5 yards of the Oldham 25. Ontar first receiver, Mackie second. Marlowe drives forward. Last tackle. And Hull concede possession there. Walker unable to take the ball from acting halfback. Round gets it away to Fieldhouse. Good long ball to Foy. Beautifully picked up by Ontar. Very alert play by Patrick Ontar. Oldham squandering possession there. They had it in a good position. Here's Carl Harrison. Back to Sharp. And Hull within sight of the Oldham 25 again. Mackie, Ontar rather, out to Walker. Good tackle by Clark. Ontar first receiver. And he makes the dummy, makes the break. Inside to Dixon. Dixon out to Nolan. Can Nolan make the line? He does! Good try to Hull. An excellent play by Patrick Ontar and Mike Dixon, the two smallest men in the Hull side, who found room close to the play of the ball. There didn't seem to be anything on for Ontar there. Threw the dummy, found a gap, picked up Dixon, and Dixon got it away to Nolan, who had the strength to go over the line, and just what Hull needed, Brian.
Absolutely. Beautiful dummy by Ontar. And just before that, Steve, he got possession back for Hull when Fired knocked on, and it very difficult loose ball. He took it up in one, and you know that gave Hull possession, that we were able to set up the position there. But Ontar again, nice little dummy, as you said, made the break, found Dixon on his inside, and then he found Nolan, and Nolan was strong enough to resist the last tackle and put the ball down. He said just the start of the need for the second half.
So that takes Hull up to 10 and a 6-point lead. And Paul Eastwood has a kick from the far side, about 10 yards in from touch, and he's taken it back to about 22 yards from the goal line. So the right side of the field for Paul Eastwood as a left-footed kicker. Makes good contact and kicks the goal. So Hull's lead stretched to 8 points at 12-4. And Brian Hall, Oldham have had some quite good possession in the second half already and looked dangerous, but their ball security hasn't been very good.
No, they've been a little bit shaky, haven't they? They have created good positions. Hull are now taking Walker off and putting Blacker on, which again, we lost a little bit of power there, Steve. I don't know if this force put. Walker didn't appear to be injured, it's hard to say. I imagine Nolan will go into the pack now. Give Hull a pretty light back three.
So, Brian Blacker on and Russ Walker off. And Marlowe has brought the ball back to the 25. John Sharp. Ball out to Jackson. Jackson finds... and here's a break by Brad Webb, who gets over the halfway line from Richard Price's inside pass. Good play by Hull, good reply. Here's Ontar. Harrison. Good tackle by Richard Irving down low. Lee Jackson from acting halfback finds a bit of space. Hull now just short of the Oldham 25. Mackie. Inside to John Sharp. Good tackle by Fieldhouse. Read that well. Last tackle. Mackie. Try the drop goal. And it's over. So that's a good reply by Hull. A fifth tackle just outside the Oldham 25, and Greg Mackie setting himself and coolly slotting over a drop goal to take the Hull lead to 13 points to 4. Oldham trying the quick kick-off. Richard Gay collects. Gets it away to Webb. And Webb is stopped about 4 yards short of the 25-yard line. Ontar from acting halfback, but in the tackle loses the ball. So scrum to go down with an Oldham head and ball. Another good field position for Oldham, and it should be possession for them. The ball comes out, it's taken by Foy, and he throws the ball to Platt, but it's spilled, and it's also spilled by Richard Price. And the crowd not liking that, but certainly Richard Price, there was a little fumble there. Oldham made the first knock on, so it will be a hole put in on their 25-yard line, midfield. And Brian Blacker, who's playing in the pack, takes the ball. Mackie, Marlowe, and play within 5 yards of halfway, and Hull finding a lot of room now. Onta, taken by Fieldhouse, and Dixon, a beautiful ball to Lee Jackson, and the two hookers, as it were, combining well there. Blacker is acting halfback. Hull just outside the Oldham 25, but Blacker throws out the ball, or has it knocked out of his hands, and it's cleaned up by Irving for Oldham. McAllister to Clark, and he stopped on his own 25-yard line. Here's Fieldhouse, stopped by Harrison and little Patrick Onta. McAllister to kick, kicks on to Gay, but ball taken quite easily by Richard Gay. And he runs back at the Oldham defence. He's tackled by Foy, but played just inside the Oldham half. Webb to Price. Price is across field, trying to get on the outside of the Oldham tacklers. Russell makes the tackle. Mackie, Blacker, and Blacker runs under a fairly high shot from around. Fieldhouse makes the tackle, and here's Marlowe, who's working hard as ever. Mackie out to John Sharp. Sharp, a long floated pass to Nolan, and he's almost slips the leash there, but tackled by Lord, and this time, oh, a beautiful kick by Patrick Onta, and the scrum will go down some 5 yards from the Oldham line. Certainly Hull seem to be on top now, Brian.
Yeah, they do. Certainly two pretty tough tackles, I thought, by Fieldhouse, Steve. In fact, I was surprised now the referee, the linesman came on to caution, because I thought he punched Onta a couple of minutes ago in the tackle, and he put in a pretty hard tackle on Blacker there. But yeah, Hull do appear to be getting on top.
They're making quite a lot of yards on the early tackles, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Round trying to clear his own lines. Onta again making the tackle, and Oldham struggling at them acting half-back position. Russell is away. Onta, in fact, is adjudged by the referee to have touched the ball in that ruck, and he's wiped the sleet clean. But what a hit by Marlowe on John Fieldhouse. Shoulder into the rib cage. I should think John Fieldhouse felt that. He's got the ball back again, and perhaps Hull are deciding to soften him up in a legal way in retaliation for his rather rough tackles on the fullback. And Blacker cleans up that chip kick by Mike Ford, and he will play the ball 8 yards inside the Oldham half. Dixon first receiver. Mackie out to Gay, inside to Richard Price, and Price again sets off on a little gallop. Had a lot of the ball, Richard Price, today, and has taken his chance in the first team well.
Yes, he has. He's made lots of yards.
Harrison to Onta, glove ball from Onta to Price, who's roaming around in the middle, looking to feed off any ball coming out of the tackle. Mackie spins out to Marlowe. Good skill by Mackie, and Hull driving towards that 25 again. Lee Jackson is acting halfback. Hull move it to the left. Mackie kicks, goes for the higher kick this time onto Platt, chased by Gay. Well taken by Duncan Platt. Tackled by Richard Price, 10 yards from his own line. McAllister finds Irving coming in off his wing, but if anything, Oldham lose yards on that play. Here's Round from acting halfback. Tackled by Jackson and Mackie. Ford runs into a pretty tough tackle from Onta. Again assisted by Mackie. Fieldhouse And Mackie on time again, but he gets the ball away to Foy. But Oldham not going a long way forward here. McAllister to kick. Taken by Eastwood, just inside his own half. And Paul Eastwood tackled by Ford on the halfway line. Plays the ball. Blacker acting halfback. And penalty given against Eastwood for opening his mouth.
I think he was protesting there about the treatment it was getting. But in fact, referee Whitfield's been consistent, Steve, because he hasn't given a single penalty for interference around the play of the ball, and there's been quite a lot throughout the game.
So we've seen a lot of rucks spoiled a little bit by both sides.
Yeah, we have really. You know, I don't think there's been a penalty for holding down or any kind of interference at the play of the ball.
So Oldham now 10 yards outside the Hull 25. Fieldhouse plays it. Here's Fairbank, fellow prop, but Nolan makes the tackle. Ford switches play. Ball taken by McAllister, but a very similar kind of knock-on to that by Richard Price some moments ago, and the scrum will go down with a Hull head and ball. So a reminder that Hull are ahead by 13 points to 4. Onta to feed the scrum. Gets possession, Mackie. Gay. Gay gets around the tackle of Platt. He's into the clear, Richard Gay, a Hull player impeded. Takes on Irving, takes on the winger Lord. Oldham at 6s and 7s. Mackie goes from acting halfback, finds Richard Price. And he's tackled well. Oldham regathered now. But what a good break by Richard Gay. John Sharp. 11 yards short of the line in front of the post. Hull good attacking position. Ontar calling the shots. But here's Carl Harrison. And Harrison's still going. It's going to be held up short, but he's only a couple of yards from the Oldham line. Lee Jackson acting halfback. Out to Ontar. Out to Mackie. Inside to Gay. And Gay steps through an ocean of space to score Hull's third try of the afternoon. Good awareness by Greg Mackie. The obvious ball was out to the wing, but it was a 2-on-2 there, and inside was Richard Gay, who had to really go through a wide open gap to put the ball down some 10 yards to the side of the post. Good try by Gay, and good play by Mackie.
Yeah, he certainly deserved the try, because it was his initial break, 40-50 yard break there, that when he left the Oldham full-back in his wake straight from a scrum, that set up the position. Yeah, very good. I thought Hull had lost it. But in fact, you know, they were very cool, calm, and a nice little inside ball by Mackie. As you said, the obvious ball was outside. He put it inside, a little bit of a gap. Gay went into it, came off his foot and scored quite easily.
So it's beginning to look as if the Oldham resistance, which was very tough in the first half, has receded a bit. And Hull, if not having everything their own way, certainly at the moment seem to be in control. And as Paul Eastwood lines up this kick, Greg Mackie organising his troops. Steve Crooks offering a drink and no doubt a few words of instruction. And Paul Eastwood has this fairly straightforward kick. Right through the middle, so the whole score goes up to 19. So Dwayne is on, and it looks as if he's going to take up position in the forwards. Atkinson kicks off, taken by Ontar. Out to Marlowe. It's his turn to run the ball back at the Oldham defence. Stopped 7 or 8 yards inside his own 25. John Sharp, and he just about makes the 25. Jackson from acting half-back almost wriggles out of the tackles. Blacker. Dixon from acting half-back decides to take on the Oldham markers, and Fieldhouse again involved in a little bit of rough stuff at the tackle, but as Brian Holwell commented earlier, the referee has tended to let this go by both sides. That's a good kick. It's going to drive Oldham right back to their own line. In fact, Henderson picks it up just over his own line, and Price is up there to make the tackle. Oldham will play 10 yards from their own line. Here's Irving. Webb chases across, he beats that tackle, but the moment he's going backwards, and certainly 30 yards across and none forward there. McAllister. McAllister seems to have taken a lot of ball from acting halfback, and he's always struck me as a running player, not a player who should be sucked into that position, Brian.
That's right, yes, he has. He looks like he's struggling for a role actually in the team, Steve. He's come on as sub and a little bit disjointed now, Oldham.
Forward kicks. Gay takes it nicely after the bounce. Runs across, sizes up his options, gives it to Brad Webb. Webb steps through a tackle. Taken eventually by Dwayne, but play now 8 yards inside the Oldham half. Price goes from acting halfback. And again he's going forward, and Hull are making a lot of yards in that area. 10 yards short of the 25. John Sharp driving on. 25 just about reached. Lee Jackson acting half. Carl Harrison turns, gets it away to Price. Ball comes away to Ontar, Mackie. Out to Marlowe. Marlowe takes a high shot from Fieldhouse. It's dragged down. Can't criticise John Fieldhouse's effort, but his technique seems to be lacking. Again, Ontar finds some space up the middle. A ball out to Lee Jackson. What a pass to Jackson. Can he make it? He's over. Rolls over the line and scores. And that deserved a try. That's Patrick Ontar's excellent play up the middle. I mean, his dart was superb. Wasn't going to make the line himself. And with Oldham men between him and Jackson, he'd needed a precision pass. And he made it inch perfect. Lee Jackson took it, stumbled over, but had the wherewithal to roll over the line and place the ball down, and I thought that was a fair try. It
was a fair try. Another really international piece of class there by Ontar. Nothing really on when he got the ball against Steve. He just went, found the gap, and an inch. I mean, it was easier to either stick or, you know, found an Oldham defender, but in fact it went straight into Jackson's hands, and Jackson had the wherewithal just to get over the line. He was stopped, but his momentum took him over.
So excellent skill by the French scrum half, and a deserved try to Lee Jackson, who, as usual, has been a model of industry and determination in this game. And Hull now stretching out of sight at 23-4 with the kick to come. And Patrick Ontar is being substituted, and what a reception he's getting, and he deserves every bit of it. Russ Walker coming back for him, but just listen to that reception for the little Frenchman. And Eastwood is successful with the conversion, so the score goes up to 25 to Hull and 4 to Oldham. So Oldham now rocked by this Hull onslaught in the second half, about to kick off again. That's three tries they've conceded in the first 25 minutes of this half. And Ian Marlowe brings it back up for Hull, and he's bumping off tacklers nicely. Uses his shoulder and hip well in the tackle, Ian Marlowe. He's very, very good at bumping off players as he hits them.
Yeah, he is. He's very good. And I mean, it's his first season in professional rugby league. I think he's going to be a real star, Steve. At the moment, what he doesn't do is slip the ball after he's bumped people off. But I'm sure that'll come.
Oh, almost up to halfway again. John Sharp, a little bit of disagreement with Ford. Kick by Mackey. Hull chases her up. Marlowe and Richard Price, and they make the tackle on Henderson, who's now gone to fullback since the departure of Platt. And Irving is tackled just outside his own 25. Here's Russell from acting halfback, finds a little bit of space, beats Dixon's tackle but not that of Mackey. Clark out to Fieldhouse, but that's a good tackle by Russ Walker. And Round tries the high kick this time. Gay fumbles it, but he goes behind him. He's got Clark chasing him, and Clark makes a good tackle. Gay stopped some 13 yards from his own line. Eastwood is at acting halfback. I think he'll have a run on his own. He does. And he makes another 10 forward. Sharp this time. Almost gets through the tackle, just held on to by Shirt, by Dwayne. Dixon from acting half. Mackey. Harrison. Almost getting the ball away to Walker, just an older man in between. And Mackey takes the ball from acting halfback and kicks to the main stand. It's going to be taken by Lord. He's faced by Nolan, and now a wall of Hull tacklers. Blacker makes the tackle. Just outside the Oldham 25. Henderson. Fieldhouse. McAllister running off Ford. That's perhaps more the role he ought to be playing in the game. Round. Russell on the run around with Round as the pivot. Tackle by Jackson. Oldham still short of halfway. And again, Round makes the kick. This time Gay takes it cleanly. And he has a bit of room. Ball away out to Nolan. Nolan steps inside, beats the first tackles. Out to Brian Blacker. Supporting well Blacker. Still going Brian Blacker. Ball out to Jackson. Jackson misses it, but Webb has it, and Hull now stopped 3 yards short of the Oldham line. They're back to one. Oldham man touched it. Eastwood. And he's tackled 10 yards short. Dixon. Darting from acting halfback. Walker acting half. And he gives, the referee, Mr. Whitfield, gives a penalty against Walker. Against Dixon for not playing the ball correctly?
Well, I don't know. I think he said Walker was obstructing Fieldhouse getting to the ball or getting to Dixon. I'm not quite sure, Steve. Fieldhouse have an excellent game actually for Oldham. I'm very disappointed with Fairbank though. Seems that Fieldhouse is doing his work and the other props work as well.
Dwayne tackled just outside his own 25. Ford. Round. All the way to Russell, and forward pass though. Referee awards the forward pass. And Round perhaps the most dangerous of their attacking forwards.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Fieldhouse has taken the out for his work and the way he's kept at it, and Round for being quite dangerous, particularly when he's been running wide out. The hooker Russell's not quite as impressive this half, Steve.
Lacker at standoff. Mackey playing at scrum half now. On Towers off the field. Price acting halfback. Picks up Marlowe on a switch, and Marlowe runs hard at the Oldham defence and gets inside the 25. Price has to go on his own this time, nothing else on. Here's Sharp, inside to Mackey, and Mackey tackled by Fieldhouse, but only 5 or 6 yards from the Oldham line. Mackey plays the ball to himself and is stopped on the line. 6th tackle. What will Hull try? Mackey, the usual kicker, is of course in possession. Jackson acting half. Tries the ball out to Sharp, and it's on the floor and picked up by Oldham.
I think some of the most blatant holding down I've seen in a long time, Stephen. Still no penalty.
I don't think we're going to see one now.
Well, you think not.
Ball lost by Foy. Carl Harrison has it. Taken by Jackson. And he'll be sensible to take the tackle because he'll have 5 to go. Dixon out to Blacker. Inside to Gay. Out to Dixon. Jackson drops off Harrison. Back out to Price, takes the ball well. Oldham sticking at the tackling. Gay, long ball out to Mackey. Out to Sharp. Sharp dummies and goes on his own. And Oldham hanging on. Mackey moves the ball to the right. Blacker kicks through. That looks to me to be too strong, and Oldham winger Lord is able to shepherd it over the dead ball line. Restart on their own 25. Fieldhouse, the workhorse, takes it up. Russell from acting halfback. Ford probing for an opening. Round, it's the ball away, a good quick pass to Foy. Ford, Fieldhouse, and back out to Henderson. Now Henderson's got a bit of space. Dummies to his to Round, and he gets almost to halfway before Webb makes the tackle on him. Round to Clark, to Fieldhouse, to Ford, to Fairbank. Fairbank taken by, gets the ball away, round the tackle to McAllister. And he is going to be tackled 10-yard shot of the 25. And this has been Oldham's best bit of attack in the half, Brian.
Yeah, really, Hull have dominated possession this half. It's free kick to Oldham there.
Hull penalised for stealing the ball in the tackle. McAllister was put down, and Atkinson kicks it up.
I think the difference is in this half, Steve, we've controlled the ball and Oldham haven't.
And, well, poor old Richard Russell must look a little red-faced after that. It was obviously some sort of set play, but he ended up by rolling the ball forwards towards the Hull players, who picked it up gratefully, almost embarrassed to take it. Mackey out to cuts out Sharp, but the ball taken by Jackson. The referee, the ball bounces off Jackson, is taken by Marlowe, and the referee says play on. Obviously he judged that ball to have gone backwards. Dixon is acting halfback, and Lee Jackson is injured. Mackey is going to play it. Dixon from acting half. Oh, and he takes a big, hard, solid hit from John Fieldhouse. However, his only reaction is to get up, wriggle a few more yards and play the ball. Tough man, Mike Dixon. Henderson has to take the ball inside his own 25, and he's tackled by Richard Price, assisted by Brian Blacker. Ford. Ball out to Foy. And for a former international player, Brian Holwell, Des Foy is very disappointing in this half.
Yes, he is, isn't he? You know, I suppose he's come out on the stage of the game when Oldham don't look as organised as they did earlier on, but yeah, he has been disappointed.
Forward pass from Fieldhouse to supporting player Foy, and the scrum will go down some 10 yards inside the Oldham half with Hull's put in. And Patrick Ontar, though not on the field now, has won the Man of the Match award. It's the short side play. Sharp and Mackie involved, and Mackie tackled. John Sharp will do well to walk away from a little bit of aggravation with the Oldham players, and they're tackling in numbers now. Eastwood is taken. Walker settles it down for Hull. Jackson acting half. Mackie out to Blacker. Nolan inside to Richard Price. Richard Price coming in field, finding a bit of space, straightens up, but is well taken by Russell. Blacker. And he stopped some 4 yards short of the 25. Last tackle against Hull. Mackie. Kick over the top. Jackson takes it. Can he get rid? Manages to kick the ball a few yards forward, and it's taken by Des Foy for Oldham. Henderson. Irving. McAllister. Taken by Walker. Round to Ford. Drills the ball through, but Mackie is back. And Richard Gay further back. Takes the ball. Richard Gay runs at the Oldham defence. Looking confident. As well he might. It's a fine game, Richard Gay. Walker. And as so much play in this second half, we're just on or around the Oldham 25. Mike Dixon running. And again, Fieldhouse over the top. And he's sailing close to the wind. Mackie exploits the gap, goes straight through, and scores some 10 yards from the touchline. And really, Oldham caught thinking about niggle in the tackle. 2 or 3 men in the last tackle. And a huge gap at the ruck area from the resulting play of the ball, and Greg Mackie, good decision maker that he is, finds the space, goes straight through it, and really runs on a post the line, Brian.
Yeah, he saw the gap, as you said. Oldham were interfering on the play of the ball. He saw the gap, Mackie went straight through it, made the try scoring look very, very simple. I think, Fieldhouse had a great game for Oldham. Can't take it away from him. I'm impressed with his attitude, the way he's kept going and the rest of it. But really, he has sailed pretty close to the win. I don't think he's given a penalty away, because he certainly dropped on Dixon, their third man, when Dixon was already tackled by 2 people and he was on the ground, Steve. But not a word from Mr. Whitfield.
No. But Oldham conceding their 5th try of the afternoon. So Paul Eastwood has this conversion from 10 yards or so in from touch on the far side, and he's taken the ball back to the 25-yard line. Chance to put Hull into the 30s. Strikes it well, big cheer, it's over. Good kick by Paul Eastwood, his 5th success, and Hull now move up to 31 against Oldham's 4. And really, Brian, you wouldn't have believed that after a very tight first half, in which Hull did well to be 6-4 ahead at the half-time, that the game would have been quite so one-sided in the second half.
No, Hull played very, very well, and Oldham, they came out of that initial fire, that initial pace. That went, and they haven't really offered a great deal in the second half.
And we've had very, very little play inside the Hull 25 in this half. Mackie picks Walker up on the inside, and Walker clears the 25 before being tackled. Taken by Round and McAllister. And Round, Oldham in getting involved in a niggle again at the tackle, and it's making their marker defence wide open. Ian Marlowe almost makes the break, beats off the first tackle. and actually Clark does well to, well, that must be interfering at the ruck by Clark, offside position, but Hull put in the kick, and Henderson is pinned right back in his own 25. Irving from acting halfback. Into the last couple of minutes of the game. And round patting Walker on the head, I think, accusing him of feigning an injury. Meanwhile, an Oldham player is pushed by a wall of Hull tacklers into touch on the far side, and Hull will have head and ball at this scrum, which goes down some 35 yards away from the Oldham line. Ontar given the man of the match. Who else would be close in your contention, bro?
Well, I think Ian Marner's had another good game, and certainly Harrison has, Steve, and Lee Jackson's worked hard.
Richard Gay?
Yeah, as well, Richard Gay, yeah, as well. It's another of these, you know, very good all-round team efforts that Hull have put in throughout the season.
Mackie from acting half-back out to Gay. And there it is, the end. Richard Gay tackled by Atkinson, the end of the game, and a very convincing second half performance by Hull. 4 tries in the second half. They've scored 25 points in that time, and they have conclusively won this vital Stonesborough Championship match by 31 points to Oldham's 4. And after a very tight, competitive first half, Hull have been almost totally dominant in the second. And they're staying out to give supporters a chance to show their appreciation and to show that respect that they've got for the support. And it's been a very, very convincing second half showing. Oldham rather trudging off rather disconsolately. I think they fancied their chances of winning the game at half-time, but Hull in the second half have really taken a grip on the game and in the end won it quite comfortably. So to sum up, Brian, an important win, 2 valuable league points, and it's not done our points difference any harm at all.
No, it's nice to put 30 points on the board like that. I think, you know, looking back, what was also impressive about Hull is we made several substitutions. We finished up with Mackie at work in the scrum. We had Blacker at one time at loose forward. But it didn't seem to make any difference to our rhythm. You know, the great thing about Hull is they're well drilled. People know their job, and they also obviously know other people's job as well, and they can slot in. I think that was the difference in the two teams. I thought Oldham were good for 20 minutes. Probably good because they were fired up, and once that initial fire went, maybe they didn't have that much to offer. But I think the other thing was Oldham had to make changes, and they were obviously very disjointed. You know, you commented about McAllister running in the wrong places. I thought Dwayne, as the game got on, was running in the middle, was a centre and originally picked at loose forward. And they lost the pattern in a way that Hull didn't lose the pattern. And as I said, I think that's a tribute to Hull, to Brian Smith, the way he's inculcated the team plays and people's responsibilities and people's jobs, and the way that other members can come off the bench and take a role, and it's as though there was, you know, there's been no difference. The pattern, they never lost the pattern. Lots of changes, as I said, in personnel and in positional play, but they never lost the pattern, and I think that was the difference. And certainly in the second half, Hull's ball security was excellent. That was what's wrong in the first 20 minutes. We were losing the ball, and Oldham's kicking game, particularly from Mike Ford, was very, very good in the first half. In the second half, but was on the other foot. Oldham's kicking game was poor. We put them under pressure. They made mistakes. As I said, they lost the pattern, and Hull dominated the game territorially and dominated possession, and the points came. And what looked like a very hard game, and was a hard game for the first half, turned out to be quite an easy win. I was a little bit disappointed with Whitfield's refereeing. I don't know if he was trying to get in some kind of record for not giving penalties away. I don't know, but I mean, really, I thought the players showed great forbearance in not retaliating against very obvious niggling tactics of the play of the ball. It could have got out of hand, you know. Somebody could have rushed in, but they didn't. And no credit to Mr. Whitfield, Steve.
So there we are, comprehensive summing up from Brian Holwell as usual at the end of this game. A reminder that Hull have defeated Oldham here by 31 points to 4. Our next presentation will be on Boxing Day, when Hull have a very attractive looking fixture against Castleford here at the Boulevard. But this has been an Advanced Videos production presentation from Steve Alderson and Brian Holwell at the Boulevard. It's goodbye.